Welcome to the What is Stoicism podcast.
The Stoic Paradoxes is a work by Cicero from around 46 BC, in which the Roman philosopher re-expresses and defends some of the core arguments of Stoic philosophy. There are 6 chapters in the work, and in today's episode I'd like to provide a reading of the short second chapter. Before I do so, I'd just like to briefly note that Cicero mentions 2 historical figures in this chapter. One is Marcus Regulus, who was a Roman statesman and general during the First Punic War. As a prisoner of the Carthaginians, he was paroled to act as an envoy to convince the Roman Senate to accept peace terms. These terms were refused, and when Regulus returned to Carthage with this news, he was executed. Cicero uses Regulus as a patriotic exemplar. The second person Cicero mentions is Gaius Marius, who was a Roman general and influential military reformer who held the consulship 7 times. With that said, Cicero's second Stoic paradox reads as follows: When virtue is present in a man, nothing will be lacking for proper living. I have never thought Marcus Regulus to be miserable, unfortunate, or unhappy, for though he was tortured by the Carthaginians, not his greatness of spirit, not his dignity, not his loyalty or goodness or any other virtue, and at last not even his mind itself, which was attended by so many virtues, was able to be taken, even though his body was. And truly we saw Gaius Marius, who to me was favoured in such things and counted among the fortunate of the world, and was in adversity one of the greatest of men. Nothing can be more blessed for a mortal. You do not know, reckless fool, you do not know that virtue may have just such strengths. You make use of virtue's name, but of what it itself may be worth, you know nothing. No man is unable to be happy who finds all suitable things within himself, and who places all faith in himself. But for him whose hope, reason, and thinking hang on fortune, on which nothing can be certain, nothing that he may have become acquainted with will abide with him for a single day. You should terrify such a man if you came upon him. You should threaten him with this type of death or exile. But truly for me, whatever happens in such an ungrateful country will happen in the absence of firm resistance, not only without fighting back. What have I laboured for? What have I accomplished? Or with what cares and thoughts have I been so nightly vigilant? If indeed I have acted in such a way that I remain someone who may be undermined either by the temerity of fortune or by the abuses of my enemies? Do you threaten me with death, that I must flee into exile from all men or from bad men? Death is terrible to those from whom all life has been snuffed out, not for those whose glory still remains. Exile exists for those whose place of living is circumscribed within certain bounds, not for those who call the entire world their city. Miseries and crushing burdens press on you, which you think are happiness and prosperity. Your libidinous desires torment you. They eat away at you day and night. You are not satisfied with what you have, and even this you fear may not last a long time. Your conscience is agitated by the thought of your misdeeds. Fear of the laws and of the courts shakes your soul, and wherever you look, your misdeeds, which barely permit you to breathe, chase you like furies. And so, because no wicked, doltish, or lazy man can have peace of mind, so it also is true that a good, strong, or wise man cannot be in a state of misery. No man whose virtue and behaviour should be praised cannot also have a life that should be praised. Furthermore, a life of running away from things is hardly a praiseworthy life. A life of fleeing is a miserable life. We conclude then that whatever is praiseworthy ought to be seen as happy, advantageous, and suitable.